Okay, class. So, thanks for joining me. I wanted to, for those of you who are interested, I just wanted to kind of show you a rough draft of my 2-page layout, right? The previous video, I was just showing you kind of how to set up your file. So, basically, here's my blank file, and then I started adding my title and my copy. You have a little bit more text in yours, but I just wanted to show you kind of like the basic structure, right? So this sketch, it's just a placeholder. So I'm going to be, making an image in Illustrator or Photoshop. I'm still debating, but I just wanted to show you, like, here are my page numbers. How I did that was I had, a box. I made a little rectangle with the tool, and I made a separate text box with the number 2 opposite the number 1. Right? So that's a nice little detail that you might want to try for your layout. And then, this is just my intro paragraph. And I'm, telling you to go to like the next page, so this is kind of a different setup than yours, but you do have that option if you want to just make it kind of like your opening spread. But here, right, I'm just showing you kind of like, this is a vector illustration, kind of like just the rough kind of structure. For those of you who are going to, I know some of you may have obviously more text because you have about 500 words to play around with. For your text box, I'm just going to put this in here so you can see it. I'm going to make this text box, and I'm going to put placeholder text so you can see it. If you're looking for making columns, right? I know this is from way back, first couple of modules, but you'll get your text box and you select it. And for like your toolbar, like here, this little symbol here is the number of columns. So, adding the number of columns can be as simple as increasing the number here in your menu bar. Okay. So, this is just dummy text, but I also, wanted to show you how you could add the drop cap very easily if you would like. And the drop cap is actually it's actually in this menu here, but if your menu looks different than mine, I'm going to go to type and tables. Okay, and it'll be under the paragraph tool. And I want to just have that drop cap on that first paragraph. And I want to also remove all the hyphenations. I would suggest that you do that. It does it automatically for you, so you don't have to really think about it, but hyphenations are usually not good if there are too many of them, right? And so back to the drop cap. So I'm going to select this paragraph, and right here, okay, in that paragraph window, this is the amount of lines that your capital will drop. So this is 2 lines, this is 3 lines. And so you can see however many lines it drops, it obviously affects the size of your drop cap. And so that does it automatically. And over here, right next to it, if you so choose, you can actually increase the amount of letters that gets dropped. So maybe instead of, like, this is kind of gibberish here, but if it was the first word was in, and I wanted to kind of emphasize that, I could do that here, right? So that's something that you can utilize. The other thing that I wanted to show, and this is a nice little, I think, detail for those of you who feel comfortable using like InDesign or want to be kind of adventurous per se. So this, like little arrows that go forward to indicate like, hey, there's more content on the next page. I wanted to show you how to make them, and you don't have to make a little shape. You can actually go to type glyphs, and in this area, this is basically all the different characters of that typeface, right? So right now I'm selecting this and it's Wingdings 3, right? So it's in my typeface. But even if I just made a brand new text box, right, and I wanted to insert a character, and you can kind of explore, but I know that, dingbats have a lot of really fun things. I'm going to insert this arrow, this little hand pointing instead of those arrows. So you can add a little bit of personality to your layout. And all you have to do is get your cursor and you just double click in it. And then you can size the text box or, those little dingbats or the glyphs as you need. It works, it acts just like a typeface. Okay, so you can color them in if you would like. But that's just like a fun little detail that you can add for your layout if you don't want to use arrows, let's say, instead. And you can actually kind of think about where it would go on your spread. You don't have to lay out that next page. It's just really like this snapshot of your article, right? And if you wanted it to make believe continue, you can do that. So that was just like a fun detail. Here, don't want to make these videos too long, but here, see how my type is in a shape? You can do that for any of your copy. I'm going to move this kind of over. I'm going to change my view so you can see all of it. Okay. And how I did this is basically I made a shape. Okay. And I'm going to copy this text. And you do have the option of typing on a path. So if you wanted it to type around the shape of the circle, you can. If you want to type in the circle, all you need to do is make that shape. So the shape is there, even though you can't see it. Move this. Maybe this will be easier for you to see. There's my shape, right? It's just pink at the moment, so you guys can see it. And I'm going to get my type tool and I'm just going to hover in it. And you see how my cursor kind of changes. And I'm going to paste what I had over there, right? Now I'm going to change the color of this shape because you can't read, right? The copy, it's the black on pink is not readable. It's very difficult. So I'm going to actually make that none, right? But if you do want to add a color, right? I'm just going to show you the difference. So here, let's say I wanted to add like a subtle gray. Do you see how it's really close to the edge of that shape? Sometimes it doesn't look very good. And sometimes it might be, if you wanted to actually add a stroke to this, it might be too close. You should have kind of a nice little allowance between the edge of a shape, the edge of your page, and the text. So I would recommend you actually keep this so there's no background, and then you make another shape. I know we're getting crazy here. You're going to make another shape that is that gray. You're going to send it to back, right? Do you see, like, I'm going to kind of line this up a little bit. Right? It gives you, and that might be a little bit too big, but it gives you some breathing room between the edge of that shape and the edge of your text box, but it still maintains that text box shape, right? So that's something that you guys can use as well. Okay, so those are some InDesign tips for you. And, you know, always don't forget to save. In the next little mini video, I'm going to show you how I used some Photoshop and some layer effects to kind of redo my type, at least for the title. And that might help give you some ideas for your article spread. So yeah, if you want to tune in, you can watch the next video. If not, I will talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.